Callier cares. Callier Center for Communication Disorders at the University of Texas at Dallas celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. For half a century, the Callier Center has been dedicated to transforming the lives of children and adults with speech, language, and hearing disorders.
I was diagnosed probably around the age of 2. I had a very severe stutter. I would repeat beginning of words, beginning of sentences, and the most significant thing that I struggled with was blocking. I would, strain my shoulders, tilt my head back, and just sit there and wait for the word to come out. When it's actually happening to you, it's a long time to be sitting there like this, and it's very uncomfortable and it's very embarrassing.
Therapy can help tremendously for patients that stutter. Many people think that the goal of therapy is fluent speech, and that is not always necessarily the case. That's certainly an important part of what we do, but the most important for our patients is to give them the freedom to speak, to feel like they are an advocate for themselves, that they feel comfortable and confident in whatever speaking environments they are in, whether they're stuttering or not.
The most important things that I learned in therapy was to be my own advocate, not let people walk over you, not let people tell you you can't do something or you can't achieve something because of how you talk. The reason why I wanted to be a speech pathologist is because I knew that I had a passion for helping other kids who are just like me. One time at Tricks, which is at Callier, there was this boy that came in and he was about 12 at the time. So I spent a couple of weeks with him, and we had to do this presentation at Tricks, and we were talking about who's your idol, and he said that I was his idol, and that touched me.
Communication is essential to create and sustain meaningful relationships with family, friends, colleagues, and the world.
I had viral encephalitis almost 20 years ago, and it really blew up the left side of my brain, and it wiped out most all of my short-term, long-term memory.
When Ralph came to us, he had very limited therapy services provided, and so he really lacked a true understanding of the difficulties he's having and exactly why he was experiencing those difficulties. So a big part of what we've done is education.
Callier was great in helping me at least organize all of my tasks, being able to remember what to do, how to do things, and in the speech therapy, how to really communicate more effectively with other people. I'm really thankful for everything you've done in getting me in and helping me. That's, I wished other people knew more about Callier.
Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder.
We noticed that something was different with Norris's development at about 12 months.
I remember our first pediatrician specifically saying, "What are your concerns?" And we, of course, paused. She's like, "If you're worried he's autistic," and she picked him up and she looked at him and she's like, "He's smiling, he's engaging, he's making eye contact." She's like, "He's not autistic." What I always remember is he wasn't labeling anyone.
Right.
And I might get home from work before she did, and I could say, "Norris, mommy's home," and he would crawl to the door. He knew where she was going to come in. He knew who mommy was. But when she came in, he never said mommy or hi mommy or hi daddy or anything like that. He knew who we were, he knew who his grandparents were, he knew who our dog was.
But he didn't call us anything.
He didn't call us anything.
He had no name for us.
He had no name, no real language.
It was probably 30 months
Yeah.
before he put 2 words together. He said he wanted more cookies in Central Market.
Autism spectrum disorder is a very broad disorder. It can look a variety of ways in a variety of individuals. But the core deficits of autism are constant, and that's a deficit in reciprocal interaction, a deficit in both nonverbal and verbal language and repetitive behaviors.
Well, when Norris was diagnosed, it was like a pretty good punch in the gut. And we were sad and upset and, had all the probably bad thoughts that you can imagine that would run through your head. And we had to take a few days to digest it and then pick ourselves up and say, now it's time to find what we can best do for our son and find what treatment options we have and where can we go.
And I think at that point, and that's still so emotional to talk about, and that word is just so big to us in so many ways, but we had so much support from our family, and we picked ourselves up and thankfully landed at the early class here at Callier through, I think, just a blessing.
Our lives and Norris's life have changed a lot since we started Callier. I mean, today he is a talking machine. In fact, there's points in time where we say, gosh, I wish he would be quiet for a little while. I just go back to when we started Callier and thinking, gosh, I just hope one day I'll be able to have a basic conversation with him.
Seeing Norris today and getting to spend time with him, I can't describe how proud that makes me as a speech pathologist.
Hey, this could be a cool foundation right here. It's awesome for digging.
You're looking at a child and how changed they are, and how a child who had meltdowns and just struggled, and you saw in their eyes that they couldn't communicate what they truly wanted to show you. And then to see him now, to see Norris as a kindergartner who's excited about school, who can tell me about his favorite friends, and can tell me how much he loves stations and his teacher, and that is my hope for every single kid.
We just want him to contribute in a positive way to this life and know that he's loved and be happy. Yeah. And if you asked him, he would want to be a firefighter or a builder. That's what he wants.
Or maybe drive a train.
Or maybe drive a train.
Communication is central to virtually everything that defines humanity. Intelligence, creativity, innovation, empathy, and more. Thank you for giving hope to patients and their families. Thank you for supporting the Callier Center.